Hey guys, welcome back. BDC Kara here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of November 7th, 2024. The current character challenge is Killer Frost Prime. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are Joker, Nightwing, and Superman, who are available at silver, bronze, and gold respectively. If you're looking at the lowest tier, you can get each of them in the store. Her passive is Best Served Cold, which dampens all opponents' power generation by 50%. She's got 850 base attack, 1,200 base health. She was last available on October 26th of 2023, so just over a year ago.
So despite having lower stats, she is still relevant. And what's neat, you look at her passive. She's got old school gold passive. One ability. But power dampening is a very powerful strategy. And even though Totem is not affected by it, still relevant. I know when I'm facing her, I don't like to see her with 2 bars of power because of the unblockable damage at the end of her special 2. And Necron Scythe has made her more interesting with boosted damage against frozen opponents, which her special 2 counts as. But it's not interesting enough because a lot of that damage happens before she freezes her opponent in the middle of her special 2. Mm-hmm. And to me, this is clearly the best of the 2 Killer Frost skins. She's better than Regime Killer Frost. Regime Killer Frost has heal dampening instead of power dampening, but Regime Killer Frost also gets power dampening, but only after special 1. And to me, power dampening all the time is better than heal dampening all the time because, well, everybody generates power. Mm-hmm. And only specific characters and specific gears, which you may or may not face in any given fight, will involve healing.
And most of the time, if you're playing right, you don't really worry that much about the healing anyways. It doesn't make a huge difference.
Right. If you check out our Killer Frost playlist, you'll see we've done a pairing with Earth 2 Solomon Grundy because their combined power dampening can be enough to completely eliminate any opponent power generation. And not really relevant to how she is now, but just an interesting factoid of her history. There was a time when she was first introduced, and when you faced her in multiplayer, she would do really super fast tag-ins and tag-outs, making her especially difficult to handle when you're facing her. And it's very much like other characters that were introduced, and the AI would play them a certain way that would make them not unbeatable, but close to just really frustrating to face. Mm-hmm. Like Arkham Origins Deathstroke, who when he was first introduced would always do 200% damage on a special 1 if the AI was using them, and you get all the benefits of 100% crit and unblockable.
Yeah.
So the current video you're watching is the attempt that we've made to make her the main damage dealer. We've got a number of problems. Her attack stat is still pretty low, which is why she's promoted to Elite 8 instead of leaving her at Elite 7, which is what we generally do, except some even more powerful guys who leave at Elite 5. Mm-hmm. And because of power dampening, you can see that Rebirth Raven is actually not the greatest teammate. Rebirth Raven's greatest strength is stealing power. But if we're making it harder for opponents to generate power, then it's less likely that Rebirth Raven will be able to steal power. There won't be anything to steal. Which is why the previous version of this team had Red Lantern Hal Jordan with Claw of Horus to shatter the opponent's gear. And because we talked about it last time, I thought it would be worth showing you what that... It's still not an awful team, but it makes it a little bit less good, despite having one of the best multiplayer characters in Rebirth Raven. Mm-hmm. Hawkgirl is our third, because anybody with Totem is automatically better when you can tag in and tag it with a shorter cooldown clock. And there's a few great things about Killer Frost, right? The first hit of her special 2 is ranged, meaning as long as the opponent isn't down on the ground, you don't need to worry about how far away they are, although sometimes it's possible in very extreme circumstances that you can shove them far enough away that the first few parts of her special won't reach.
Yeah.
The other thing is the refractory period after doing special. So that's the time between you finish her special before you can do the next one. That period where you have to wait, super short. So it's easy to do another special as soon as the last one is finished. And she does work pretty well as your main damage dealer. Not great, but she does work decently. But if you're going to do that, it would be worthwhile augmenting her attack so that she's more competitive against the higher level opponents.
Mm-hmm. There we go. We are 28 weeks into sort of our new pattern, and it does look like things have settled down and we're sort of back to the old. There was a little while where we were getting alternating weeks of characters that hadn't been around for a while, and now we've had a whole run of characters that have been. So we expect next week to be Kondak Black Adam based off of the past pattern and the clue that we'll discuss in just a minute.
Right. And with 12 sort of missing challenge characters left, if they're going to go back to the alternating schedule, we've basically got 3 months left before they have to start reintroducing the old missing challenge characters.
So we'll just keep an eye on that. This week's multiplayer reward is the mysterious artifact, which becomes the Ibistick. When it's maxed out, it gives you a 30% damage boost to Special 1, a 30% damage boost to Special 2, a 20% power generation increase, and its evolved ability, which is a 10% damage over time added on Special. And it was last available on the 4th of April 2024. We expect next week to be the brandished Ninjato gear.
Right. So Ibistick, the OG, right? This was the legendary gear that made a difference in the game.
It was the first good one.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it was around the same time that Batmobile was released, close to it, and Batmobile to me is
Batmobile was
not legendary.
Accessible first, but it was not good enough for us to care about it.
Yeah. So damage over time is a percentage of the opponent's health, not the attacker's damage. So it is a great equalizer. Up until the point Ibistick was released, damage over time had been in effect on some character specials, which was low enough that either it didn't scale or was too little damage to make a difference. Clearly that has changed when you see how much the later challenge characters like Arkham Knight Catwoman can really bleed out an opponent. Mm-hmm. It was one of the first gears to boost both Special 1 and Special 2. And the power generation is perfectly in line with the need for whoever has the Ibistick to be doing specials. So it was a gear that had a huge amount of synergy in all its different abilities. Mm-hmm. We've got some fun demos of bronze characters taking out Boss Arkham Origins Batman. We've got Nightwing on his own, Catwoman, maybe not on her own, but she's doing all the damage. So that she has a meat shield that takes some of that damage. And back in the day, not now, clearly, but back in the day, Boss Arkham Origins Batman, that level disabled all passives, so it really was a challenge to beat him, and finishing the fight with a bronze card actually meant something.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. Moving on to the store, we have Kondak Black Adam for $24.99 Canadian, priced in Canadian because that's the information we have access to.
And that's the only currency that matters.
Yeah, so this is our second clue that next week's challenge is going to be Kondak, other than the cycle. It doesn't come with credits, so it's the extra overpriced version of what this is. It doesn't unlock a copy in the store. Okay. I would not buy this. It's not worth the money.
Neither would I.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Wow. We also have the character bundle Battle of Themyscira for $24.99 as well. And this comes with Ares and Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman. And you get the Dawn of Justice gear for Wonder Woman instead of the regular Amazonian sword and shield, as well as Ares gear. So again, not a great deal, but whatever, slightly better. Mm-hmm. And everything else has been around for a little bit longer. Justice League Pack-In as its second week, and everything else is long time here.
Yeah.
Phantom Zone is finished.
Yep. So the cycle we've been going through is finished 1 week, not there the second week, and then it comes back.
Yeah, so we're expecting it 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Raven, Superman, and the Arkham Knight. This coming weekends should be Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, and Martian Manhunter, and there's a link in the description to a Reddit thread from Devlin16 if you want to track the breakthrough cycle for yourself. Although, if you're listening to this video, we're already doing the work for you, so I guess there's not a huge point.
Yeah. As far as current glitches go, we go into more detail every time something significant changes, which did not happen this week. However, even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed review once a month, the first week of every month, and that is today. Today is November the 7th. This is the first Thursday of November.
So there we go.
Now, if you're impatient, you can also see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist, Current Working Glitches, linked in the description of this video. But here is where we just do a little bit more detailed talk about some of the nuances that seem to be popping up with people who have been using the glitches.
Yeah, so we're Android only. We can only speak to Android, and not even every version of Android, just the ones that we're familiar with. So stuff might differ slightly, but not from our experience and not from user feedback in a significant way. And we'll mention a little bit here with Android version differences. And just a reminder, I mean, I think people know at this point, we can't give you advice for iOS because we don't have iOS.
Yeah.
So starting off with not working glitches, stuff that you might want to do, that you were able to do at one point, that you might be looking for, but it's harder to look for a negative. So there is no working glitch for power credits. Mm-hmm. At one point, people were using a glitch for credits that require two devices that we talked about in Season 6, Episode 9 of our P and Q and C and A and T. But basically, anytime there's two devices or two accounts in general, you're running the risk of messing up your data. Yeah. And so we don't recommend anything that requires sort of multi sign-on and data manipulation that way.
And even having your account suspended.
Yeah. There we go. There is no glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards. There's no glitch for getting early multiplayer season rewards in a way that you want. Sometimes people do get it early, but it tends to give you worse rewards than you want because it's right at the start of the season, so you can't sort of earn your way up. There is nothing to get through Phantom Zone supernaturally quickly, but if you strategize right, you can get through it quickly enough that it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah, we got a playlist of speed runs through Phantom Zone.
There is no glitch to let you play to get free energy without watching the video, but you can still time shift for free energy that way. So it's a little bit more work, but it's still possible to get energy, I guess, if you really want to.
Right.
And I guess that's a good segue into the working glitches.
Yeah. So Phantom Zone's not there, but the glitch to let you play it repeatedly, it was still working. The challenge reset method that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working, confirmed in a current Contact Black Adam challenge. So here's the thing. It seems like there's a lot more comments recently. Two most common problems that show up are people don't get the cloud appearing. If that's happening, that means you're disconnecting too early. And then on the other hand, you've got people who are saying that, cloud appears, but the progress remains, that the challenge progress has not been reset. Well, that means you're disconnecting too late. There's a sort of sweet spot in timing where it just works. And right now it's still working. Also a reminder that when the Phantom Zone is around, the challenge reset glitch and the Phantom Zone reset glitch, they are both the same thing. When you do one glitch, you will remove progress from both. So it's important that you're actually playing that because to me, the Phantom Zone progress is a little bit harder and takes a bit more time. So if you are resetting your challenge, make sure you don't have, right now you don't have to worry because there's no Phantom Zone, right? But make sure that you're prepared to lose progress on both when you do that reset. And I guess the other point I want to make is that the whole point of resetting it is that you keep your rewards, you reset the challenge, but all your progress up until that point in getting rewards from both of them remain in your collection.
Yeah. So there we go. We also have a comment from Tanmay Kakde, which we put in the description, that just basically gives you advice on how to move the files around locally on your device before you clear your app data. So you don't need to re-download large files if it's making you do that when you clear app data.
Right.
Moving on from that, the breakthrough glitch to let you play it repeatedly is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch is working. That's good for any packs with random drops and last laugh tickets. It lets you sort of reset and re-roll your rewards for anything that doesn't require an online connection. So that's nothing that you are purchasing with real money from the store. That is not Phantom Zone because that requires an online connection.
Right.
And like we mentioned before, don't do the version where you switch between accounts. Clear app data instead. There's too big of a risk of using two accounts, using two devices.
Well, what's funny is people seem to come back to us thinking that we're the ones that recommend that to them. We've never recommended it. We recommend against doing that. And somehow that's still the most popular method of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably because it's easier.
Yep. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. As always, just a reminder to reset your cooldown clock back to normal before you finish so you're back in normal time because it can mess with your sort of daily scheduled
those events. Yeah. So
events.
You might not get the challenge when it's supposed to show up. You might not get the Phantom Zone when it's supposed to show up. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Last up, in between not working and working glitches, there's the promotion glitch, which would let you promote characters that are still locked. It hasn't had the right conditions for years now, so it's not testable, it's not usable, but we've never seen the conditions around and it fail. They changed it so the conditions never show up. So on a technicality, this is sort of, it's not useful, but it's not working. It's just not, it's not able to be worked. It's like,
it's not working, and it's not working.
Yeah, if you were locked in a room where you never had access to screwdrivers ever again in your life, you wouldn't say that screwdrivers stopped working. You would just say that you personally are not able to use screwdrivers. Yeah. And so we're keeping it in here on a technicality.
Yeah.
And to finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to all, or I should say that's all the content, if you're listening for more content. But we'd like to give a huge thank you to all of our patrons who support us on Patreon at the end of the video. That is Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi127, not Hoshi7, and Nora Klimek, who are supporting us on the credited level. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.